Good to see you. I feel like I
You
have
too, live in action.
through the Zoom. Next, we're going to walk through the school and just do this to everyone.
I know. You'll only be used to seeing the top part of my
Right,
body.
right. Well, welcome. We'll let Mr. Romano kind of start, and then we'll all jump in. You know all of us, so we will not go through introductions.
Sounds good.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Meredith, welcome to Claymont's Teacher of the Year panel review. Okay. I just want to quickly guide you through what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
As you know, in my email, I described what our process was, which included the panel reviewing your Teacher of the Year portfolio, which you provided to us, just providing a rating scale, just looking at the different competencies, including your resume, your biography, your responses to the question prompts that they gave you, the provided references, and just your overall presentation of the Teacher of the Year portfolio. And then our next step, which is what we're doing now, we're conducting an interview with our building level finalists. So each of the finalists will be asked a series of questions just to give us a better overall picture of the best fit to who will represent us for Claymont at the district level and, hopefully the state level. And then from there, that person has an opportunity to represent us on a national level. So that would be exciting, right? So just a quick review of just what that criteria for Teacher of the Year, National Teacher of the Year is. I'll just give you a moment. You can actually go ahead and read that through.
Okay. Okay, great.
All right, wonderful. Did you have any questions before we get started?
So, no.
All right. So first things first, tell us about yourself and why you should be considered for Claymont's Teacher of the Year.
Sure. Well, I've worked at Claymont now for 4 years, and I've really enjoyed my time there at the kindergarten level. When I first started thinking about teaching, I honestly never anticipated working with kindergartners, and I'm so excited that I found a home there. I think it's really exciting because I'm kind of the first picture they get of what school is to look like. And I like building the relationships with the parents, kind of the whole family aspect of it, including them as part of their child's learning, kind of seeing what it looks like to get started with school, what we kind of have to offer at Claymont. Building that relationships with families is one of the things that I kind of pride myself on. I feel like I know my families really well, and am able to keep them apprised of like how their children are doing. And when I do have concerns, they seem pretty well able to take the news that I have to share with them because I have kind of started that background with them at the start of the year. This year I've kind of worked a lot on kind of district initiatives as part of the Bookworms leadership team and the math curriculum team. Specifically on the math side, we're really focused on the kindergarten RTI experience. There hasn't really been a solid place of how to kind of put the kids into their groups and what those groups really look like. So it's been left a lot to the teacher discretion, which has left some inconsistencies among what we're doing at the kindergarten level. So we didn't feel that we were really confident that we were servicing the same types of kids with the same needs, as well as kind of what that instruction looked like. So I actually worked collaboratively with Mrs. Callahan and then also with Becky Glenn to create kind of a new universal screener protocol in order to place kids in the appropriate groups when the testing happens. We are also in the works to create an actual kindergarten RTI curriculum that people could actually follow, rather than we've been provided a few different resources that we can each pull from individually, but giving just a little bit more guidance and fluidity among the school and among the district as to what the children are learning and what they need to learn next steps type things. I also consider myself a really good team player. I'm kind of in it for everyone at Claymont. Any way I can help out, I really do try to. And working as part of the kindergarten team has been awesome. I think we're the best team. Don't hold it against us that we think that, but we do think we're the best team because we really do pull off of each other's strengths and work well to kind of put out a good product for all of kindergarten rather than just individual classes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so our next questions. Ms. Williams?
So Meredith, you talked about your experience with math, and obviously my question is going to be about math. So
yes,
you take a look at that visual and tell us how many squares are in the picture and how would that fit into the world of instructing kindergarten?
Can you repeat the last part of your question there?
How would you introduce something like this to kindergarten? Where would this fit within their learning?
I think that this is awesome. I am a big proponent of like using the 3-act task and getting a question kind of started and tying it into like real life, why we need to know this. Actually yesterday on our Zoom call, Nurse McNeely had joined us and she was like having to use math to figure out some problems. So this kind of ties into that as well. I would show this picture to the students, first explaining what a square is. A square has 4 equal sides, and then show them example of a square. And then really letting them explore. I like to give them manipulatives in different ways. So showing them different ways to solve the problem. You could circle the different squares. You could outline the different squares, giving them actual square pieces where they could go and try to create squares that would fit in with this. And then really having a time to talk through and with a partner first, so they gain a little bit of confidence in their answer, explaining how many they do see. I like the partner to then say, yes, that would make sense, or no, it doesn't, so that they're really feeding off of, hey, if somebody else thinks that doesn't make sense, maybe I do need to change my answer before we then come together and kind of share out with the group. I think maybe taking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How many squares are there in the picture?
How many squares? 16.
Okay, don't worry about it. Thank you so much. Next question.
Okay.
All right, Dot?
How about I need some volume here? The question says, are you a hunter or gatherer?
This is an interesting question. I would like to say I'm a gatherer because I like to get a lot of information prior to making decisions with things. I also like to gather kind of everyone together, groups of different people, you know, students, trying to get them to come together, gather along, hear advice from other people. Yeah, that would be my answer.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Burks.
Hey Meredith, how you doing? This is Mr.
I'm
Burke.
well, thank you.
Sorry you can't see me. I'm in an undisclosed location right now. So here's my question for you. Diversity as education is important. We're all able to educate all children. Think about a bag of M&Ms and how that correlates to how you address diversity within your classroom. How would you say that affects your diversity?
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing M&Ms in. It's one of my favorite candies. But I appreciate it because it's not only all the M&Ms are different colors, but within those colors, you know, some have cracks, some are half pieces. There's just a lot of different ways you can look at a bag of M&Ms there. Some of the pieces might be bigger than others, some might be smaller. And really just taking into account that everyone is different. I try to differentiate my teaching with that in mind. I do a lot of movement, kinesthetic, body awareness type activities, trying to get, you know, learners of those types of needs. Also reaching out to people from different backgrounds. I like to, at the beginning of the year, have families kind of fill out, you know, who lives at home, so that when I am sharing ideas, you know, instead of just saying mom or dad, I might say, you know, go home, ask your uncle, or share this with your uncle, grandpa, grandma, just kind of getting a good picture of where they are coming from. and allowing them to kind of share out like what makes them special. We talk a lot about, you know, how I wear glasses and I need to wear glasses because without glasses, I couldn't see. And that makes me different than some of the other people in the class. But then we also try to connect on that level too. You know, I wear glasses and so does Miss Williams, you know, so does Dr. Wachter. And so we kind of pull on some of those things that make us different to also kind of bring us together. We do a lot of celebrating in our classroom where, you know, if somebody is just now at this point in the year learning their letters, then we stop the whole class and we get excited that that person has mastered their letters. So kind of just looking at those differences and celebrating them, and then also trying to connect in ways that we can that aren't always obvious to everyone.
So essentially, and I want to make this straight for Ms. Stewart, you definitely prefer the red M&M over the blue M&M, correct?
No, I can't say that I do.
Okay, just making sure.
So Meredith, this is my question. You encounter a lot of questions in your classroom. How would you answer this one? Why are manholes round?
I first would almost always say that's a great question. And I usually say that when I'm not entirely sure of the answer. And so there's a lot of ways to kind of go about it. And so sometimes we'd stop and say, you know what, Mrs. Allen doesn't know the answer to this. What do you guys think? Like, let's share out some answers and see answers that would make sense, some answers that might not make sense. So we'll put up all the answers on the board like we frequently do in math, and then go through and say, somebody said that they're round because a cube would fit through. Well, a cube wouldn't fit through a circle, so we're probably going to cross that one off and kind of go through and get rid of some answers that don't make sense. I also like to incorporate looking up the answer as much as possible and trying to teach them like that we do have resources to find answers. So going online, looking up what a manhole is used for, and maybe finding out the answer as to why it is round. Also asking them, like, how could we figure this out? What type of person would we need to go to kind of talk to in order to figure out the answer to this question?
So off the record, why do you think they're round?
So people can fit through them, as well as pipes.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
All right, Meredith, so teachers are known as superheroes. Which superhero would best describe you as a classroom teacher and why?
I am not super familiar with superheroes, but I will let you know that I am truly considering all of our essential workers right now superheroes. So although I'm not quite in their light at this moment, although you all are because you're still on the front lines at school, I'd really like to kind of put it back in their area. Having nurses and doctors and people who, you know, construction workers still helping us, our nutrition staff at school, all of our administrators, the people who are working in the grocery store. I really can't imagine having to go out and do that during a time like this where I personally am staying home with my family, you know, for our safety, and they're going out on the lines to do that. So I would love to put myself in that category, and on a normal day, I hope I'm there. Right now, I certainly am not.
Our next thing to do is to share with you that you have been selected, and you are.
You guys are so sweet.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry to cut off your answer, but if you kept talking, none of the rest of them would have gotten to their question.
What was the answer? Is it close to 25? That's as far as I had gotten.
I honestly have not taken the time.
Hey, Meredith, that's pretty close. I counted 25 myself.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
For when Kellen loses it, I just like say, here, go solve that puzzle.
That's so funny.
Well, congratulations. I know you were looking like, what kind of question?
I was a little confused. I was like, wow, these are serious questions that are all over the place right now.
Kind of like our life right now.
That is so true. That is well, thank you guys. I truly feel honored. This is a very, very special accomplishment, and I could not do it without your direction. So thank you very, very much.
Well,
Very good.
thank you. We appreciate you and all of your hard work